Hello everyone, Berserkhead here, and welcome to this video in which I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the new Total War game that was announced like yesterday or the day before, I'm not sure. I think it was yesterday, which is going to be Attila Total War, which is going to be kind of like the Barbarian Invasion for Rome 1. Although in this case it's going to be a standalone from what was said. So in this video I'm not really going to be covering any of the things that they've shown so far, any of the screenshots or something like that. I'll probably put them in the background, but I'm not going to talk about them and give you my opinion about them because it's very simple. It's a waste of time. The game is still in pre-alpha. We don't know pretty much anything about it, so it's a waste of time at this point. Probably the game will look a lot different when they release it. It was the same thing with Rome 2, and it was a waste of time back then as well, because when they released the game, a lot of the things that they promised just weren't there. So at this point, it's too early to talk about these things, and I really cannot be bothered to talk about this. However, I'm happy that they announced this game. Why? Because I really thought it was going to be a Warhammer game because they purchased the license, and I was really thinking that they would go and make a Warhammer game, which is logical to happen at some point, because why would they purchase an expensive license like that and then do nothing with it? It just seems like it just doesn't seem like a very good idea. However, let's not talk about Warhammer. I'm glad that I was wrong, and I'm just glad that there is not going to be a Warhammer game, because if I gotta be honest, I really don't want a Warhammer game. You know, nothing against the Warhammer universe, I just want the Total War games to be historical games. And I think that's the way most people from the community think. Now, Attila Total War, I'm really happy about the time period, because this is actually one of my favorite historical periods, the Great Migration of the Nations. I really find it very interesting, very fascinating, and I've read a lot about this historical period, and I can safely say that probably my favorite historical era is the early medieval ages, which includes the Great Migration of the Nations and the Hunnic invasions, the Gothic invasions, Slavic migrations and stuff like that. I find this very interesting, and I'm gonna be glad that SEGA are making a game like that, which is not Barbarian Invasion, because Barbarian Invasion, I enjoyed that back in the day, but it's just too old of a game for me to play nowadays. So I'm happy that this is gonna be the next Total War game. And I really wanted Medieval 3 Total War, and this is kind of Medieval 3 Total War, because this is kind of the early Middle Ages, and still we can call it kind of Medieval Total War. So all of this is great historical period. I think that it's very, very appropriate for a Total War setting. However, I have some concerns that might happen with the game. First thing, it's just a little detail, but it just very much annoyed me. So I haven't watched like all the footage that they've shown. I've seen most of it, but I just didn't watch all the developer interviews and all stuff like that. But I saw the trailer, and I just wasn't very happy about it. Why? Because it was not historically accurate at all. And what I mean by that, you know, Attila, they showed Attila, he was talking, he was wearing the typical Hunnic outfit of the time. But there was one thing that annoyed me. The guy just looked extremely European, kind of Mediterranean, which was not the case. You know, when I go and read history, I don't read about battles and politics and stuff like that, but I like to read about the culture of the people, like the typical outfits they wore and the way people looked. And I can tell you that probably Attila looked very much different from that. The Huns didn't have beards or long hairs. They usually shaved their heads. They didn't have beards like... I'm not sure if this is a myth or it's true, but from what I've heard, like Huns, when a new child was born, they would just cut wounds in their faces so that no beard would grow there, because they looked at beards as something that they would have to care about, and they just didn't have the time for it. I really didn't have the time for it, but they just didn't want to bother with stuff like that, and that's why they also shaved their hair and stuff like that. So, you know, he looked extremely, like, he didn't have the facial, like, Turkic, Hunnic features. He just looked extremely European, and that's just a thing that annoyed me personally. It shouldn't be a problem for many people, but it's just, once again, it's just a personal thing. And there are a few more things that are potentially dangerous and that I'm kind of concerned about. First thing is, I am afraid that this game is going to be kind of a mod for Rome 2, or more of a DLC or something like that that they're going to try and sell as a standalone, which I have, you know, I don't really have a problem with that, that they're selling it and they're not releasing it for free. But if they charge again like 50 euros or whatever the case, and they use existing features from Rome 2. I just don't think that this is gonna be really a fair model. But I can only hope that they're not gonna do that. That would be kind of stupid. And another thing that I'm concerned about is that this is gonna be kind of like Napoleon, because Napoleon Total War, I'm gonna be totally honest, this is my least favorite Total War game of all time. Why? Because it's essentially a DLC. It's not a finished game, and Attila Total War is kind of going in the same direction right now. They're just gonna use a bunch of stuff that they made for Rome 2, and they're just gonna make another game with it. So these are the potential problems that come with this game. So once again, a lot of positive things, but I'm just concerned about how they're gonna sell this. I'm just concerned that it might just be a DLC or an expansion pack for Rome 2 that they're gonna sell as a standalone, and they're gonna charge a lot of money for it. And these are my main concerns. I just hope that's not gonna be the case. The game is in pre-alpha. It's too early to say a lot about it, but I just hope that the game will go in the right direction. You know, I'm happy with what Rome 2 is nowadays, and I just hope that there are not going to be release problems and stuff like that. I just hope that they're not going to rush it this time, because honestly, that's the worst thing that CA can do at this point. This game is, you know, their last chance. If they can win the audience with this game, you know, we can again have a great Total War community, because now the Total War community is very toxic. No one likes CA. They're just flaming them in the comment section and stuff like that, which is not entirely CA's fault. Let's be honest. It's you know, some people just don't know what they want, because they kind of fixed Rome 2, at least in my opinion. Now it's a playable game, but this is their chance to redeem themselves. And if they make a DLC for Rome 2, that's not gonna fix the whole situation. It's just gonna make even more people angry. So I just hope that they're not gonna go in this direction. Hope they're gonna add a lot more features. And yeah, it's if they do, if they make it a good game, I'm gonna be really excited about it, because this is pretty much exactly the Total War that I want. I want a new Total War that is set in a similar historical period, you know, the Great Migration of the Nations. Also, it's a great setting for Total War, because there are so many nations that are at war with each other. So even if you're not a fan of the historical period, it's just very appropriate for a game like this. So yeah, that's all I can say at this point. And once again, I'm not gonna be covering the features and stuff like that, and I'm not probably gonna be keeping up with the news, because I simply do not trust CA at this point with the things that they released before the release of the game. So I'm just gonna wait for the game to come out. I'm not gonna be keeping up with the news that much, and I'm not gonna be covering it for this simple reason, because I don't trust them. And we'll see when the game comes out. I really hope it's gonna be great. So yeah, that's all for this video. These were my thoughts, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.